Hey guys, it's Danny from the Sentence Talk, and today we will be making miniature diffuser bracelet. The things that we've been needing today is a scissor, crafting string, and different types of beads. So the first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to take a piece of a string. We're going to cut a small piece of string. And now you want to make sure it fits around your doll's wrist. So the beads that I'll be using today are called lava beads. The lava beads are used where you put essential oils on top, like the ones I wear now. So I'm going to use these miniature beads how I used to make Evie's DIY miniature essential oil bracelets. Now these bracelets are good for anybody can wear them actually. So I'll be not only making them for the VKs, but I'll be making them for Barbie and her friends. So we're gonna bead them through, and if you don't want to, you don't have to tie knots unless you really have to. So you're gonna take your beads and then you just want to string them through until they fit around your doll's wrist. So as you can see here, I beaded 4 through. I beaded 4 beads through. Alright, so you want to make sure that you don't add too much or too little beads so it can fit around your doll's wrist. So what I'm gonna do before I go on, I'm gonna pick another small bead, but in a different color. So I'm just gonna bead it through my string. Go through. Okay. So now that we have the bead shrunk through, we are going to use Uma actually for this, and you just want to make sure that that the doll's wrist is good for it to go around. Now if you need to add more beads onto it, you can add this. For this bracelet, looks like I could add 1, maybe 2 on. So, or just forget to tie a knot at the end. Alright, so I fixed the bracelet and now it fits nicely on Uma's wrist. Now this string that I actually used is a stretchier string versus this string, but this is a string I actually used to make Evie's bracelet. It's not as stretchy as the other one, but it's sturdy, so it won't break easily. The only thing that you would have to do if you make bracelets with like a sturdy string that's not like really stretchy or durable, and if you have like the dolls, like the Descendants dolls for example, or like even Monster High dolls, you like the hand snap off where you can take the bracelet and slide it on nicely and just snap the hand back on. So now she has a little miniature essential oil diffuser bracelets. Now the next one I did was Uma, and I used the stretchier string, and on the stretchier string her hand, you can pull it on and off of her hand. So whichever string you have or you like works for however doll or thing you make. So the next step we're going to make the VKs. We're going to make Jay, Ben, and Carlos bracelets for the essential oil blends. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need, obviously we're going to use string, but we're not going to use this type of string. We're going to use the white stretchy one, and I'm just going to cut off a bit of a longer piece so I can cut in half for Ben, Jay, and Carlos, or how many it would work for. Alright, so we're going to start by cutting it in half. And we're just going to grab the little black beads like we did before. Just going to string them through. Make sure you have a tight grip on the end so the beads don't fall off. So if you use different string like yarn thread string type like that, you would just have to wet the tip a little bit so you can get the beads through. So now I threaded 4 black beads, and so I don't use any like girly colors. I'm going to use a very shiny black bead to go in the middle for one of the guys. And then what I'm going to do, being that the wrist is a little bigger than the girl's wrist, is I'm going to add about 2 or 3 more beads on this side. So let's do that. Alright, so it fits nicely around Carlos's wrist, and I use a stretchy string so I can get it an easy on and off access. So the next thing we're actually going to do is, I'm going to get this back on his wrist, next thing we're actually going to do is make diffuser necklaces for the dolls. So, like Uma, being that she's from the sea and her mother's Ursula, what I'm going to do is how this necklace is from a Ken Dreamtopia doll. So I figured putting it on her around her neck makes her look like it's her Uma's conch shell type thing. So I'm gonna make her. Well, I'm gonna make her one. We are gonna make Uma a necklace. So we're gonna use a few black beads and this seashell and this little seashell charm. I don't know if you can really see it. And we're just going to place it, have it like dangle down just a little bit down her neck. So the first thing we're going to need is I'm going to use this black string. So it has a tighter grip on when you go to tie it up. So let's cut this. I made it a decent size where it's big enough to not only knots, but tie it at the top, but to also fit around the doll's head. So the first thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna bead the shell through. See if I can find the hole. Here it is. And then we're just going to take it and we're gonna align these two together. So once they're aligned, you're going to take it and then you're just going to do, just a little quick knot so it's centered. Take it and knot it. So she has it more in the center. And being I use this string, it's a little, so you have to knot it up just a little bit more if you're using the not so stretchy string. So once we have the shell through, we're going to bead through a couple of different beads, like these little tiny blue ones. Like we're gonna bead on each side, take 2 of these and bead them on each side. Then I want to take a shinier bead and have it on that too. And I have these little shiny beads. I have them in gold too, so that's what I'm also going to do for the design. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take the bead. You're going to take your bead, you're going to find the hole. Take it, and then if you want it to stay in place, what you can do is find where you want to have your bead, and then just knot it like how we did with the shell. And you want to make sure they're tied really tight so they don't start to come undone. Alright, so get my finger through, and you have the first bead. Now you can add the second bead on, but let's make sure it fits around. It would have fit around Uma's neck. So let's grab Uma and pull the camera up just a little bit. So you're gonna take her necklace, and you want to find where you want to tie it. Now, if you just want to leave the two, just get another one and add the second one over here. That's perfectly fine. But that's what I think I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna bead the other bead through here, and then just leave it and make it look like, I don't know, like those beads that hang down on her neck. So I think she has a shell and her fashionable oil bracelet, excuse me. So let's bead the other one through, shall we? So here is the finished piece of Uma's necklace. Now you want to make sure that you tie the back really good so it doesn't pop while you're trying to put it over the doll's head or even trying to take it off her head. I know this string was a little snug trying to get it past her hair, like in the back, but otherwise it was fine. And it's perfect because it goes nicely with her little bracelets. And now we're going to work on making a cute, quick little headband for, Evie and Mal and the other big kids, not the boys. So I'm going to make headbands for dolls. So the first headband I'm going to do is for the VKs, for like their shaped head. So I'm going to take the string I cut. I use the stretchy string because if her hair's up or even if it's down, it's easier stretch. So I just want to measure her head to make sure it's good enough, it's big enough for the head, and it will be easier to tie when we're done. So the beads I'm going to use today is these shiny little pearly beads that will go over like the top of her hair. So I'm going to start beading them through and more. So I finished up the headbands and I used the clear white shiny beads, and up here I used these type of beads. I don't know if you can see them. They have little like crystals inside, and I used them to add a little bit of pop and color to her hair. Now right here, if you see that's a little gap, right, like a gap between right here, you can always take the doll's hair and cover that gap up. Or if you just want to have your doll wear like a regular headband where you just push all the hair back to way back and away from your face, and you would just have to push up the beads just a little bit so it doesn't show. The same thing here. Right here is fine. It's not too so much like the side. Now if you want, you can add more beads to the headband, or if you're making this can be turned into a belt as well. But if you're using these type of beads, I would suggest using the stretchy string to put around the doll's head. Now the first thing, before you make a headband for a doll, always measure the head first. Always, always. I'm just gonna set her down over here and there. And the last thing we're actually going to do today is we are going to make a quick necklace for Mal. So the beads I'm going to use the same string as I used for Uma, and I'm going to use different beads from. Now I have these character beads, but I don't think they would really fit Mal's style in a way. So just put that back in there. What I'm going to use is the same beads I used for Evie's hair, and the same color stone crystal. I don't know if you can see, it's gold, and then you have the crystals. So this necklace was a bit of a snug fit, good to go over the doll's head. But if you're making any jewelry, like necklaces for example, if you're using like this like the string I'm using, just make sure it's stretchy before, so it can go back and over the doll's head. So that is all I have for today. So next time we'll be doing with the Barbies and the Ken. We're going to be making more crafts with them. Stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and turn on the notifications button down below. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Descendants Talk. Bye!